It's a Wednesday morning during the World Cup, and Mexico's host cities are engulfed in celebration. Fans are packing the plazas, the streets are flooded with green jerseys, and the atmosphere is pure euphoria. But at that exact same moment, exactly at 6 a.m., the rural mountain communities of Guerrero are waking up to an active cartel siege. The threat isn't coming from the ground. Consumer drones are hovering over the forest canopy, dropping explosives onto the rural community of Guajes de Ayala. On the ground, a 24-year-old woman named Marilu Solorio is sheltering inside an abandoned medical clinic. She's hiding there alongside 70 other women, children, and elderly residents, listening to the explosions and hoping they make it out alive. The group attacking them is a highly organized criminal syndicate known as La Nueva Familia Michoacana, aggressively expanding their territory into these mountains. While one part of the country cheered, another part burned. Both events were the result of a single, deliberate choice by the Mexican government to concentrate its security resources in a few specific locations. The residents of Guajes de Ayala knew this attack was coming. They spent weeks warning local law enforcement, even posting videos to social media showing cartel fighters inching closer to their homes. In response, state security forces did not intervene. The calls for help went completely unanswered. By focusing on projecting a stable image for the World Cup, the Mexican government left its rural citizens to face an advancing cartel entirely alone. To understand the logic behind this absence, we have to look at the mandate of Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, who needed to project absolute domestic security ahead of the tournament. She was facing intense external pressure. U.S. politicians, including President Trump, were actively threatening military action against cartels, creating an urgent political need for Mexico to prove it had the violence under control. Sheinbaum's solution was a massive redeployment of state power. She authorized moving 100,000 military and National Guard troops across the country. The government clustered enormous security forces directly into the three World Cup host cities, Mexico City, Monterrey, and Guadalajara. But this redeployment created geographic voids, draining state forces from volatile regions like Guerrero, Sinaloa, and Chiapas. This is the lethal math of a zero-sum security strategy. The government relocated its monopoly on force to where the world was watching, leaving vast stretches of the country entirely undefended. Cartels operate on a simple logistical rule. They flow into the paths of least resistance. When the state pulls back, they move in. Recognizing the World Cup as a window of opportunity, La Nueva Familia Michoacana exploited the military's absence to push deep into the mountains of Guerrero. This push involved a significant shift in tactics. They bypassed traditional ground skirmishes and moved directly into asymmetrical aerial warfare. They took standard consumer drones and rigged them with primitive explosives, known locally as potato bombs, turning retail technology into an ad hoc air force. Abandoned by the state, the citizens of towns like Guajes de Ayala had no choice but to form local self-defense vigilante groups. To stand a chance, these vigilantes sought a new source. They secured military-grade U.S. rifles, operated high-tech reconnaissance drones, all supplied by rival cartels. The state's deliberate absence forced ordinary citizens into a high-tech proxy war, fighting daily battles just to survive the duration of a soccer tournament. On paper, the strategy worked. The Mexican light of the World Cup wrapped up on Sunday without a single major security incident inside any of the host cities. For the government, this achieved their objective. They successfully projected an image of stability to international tourists and foreign investors. But maintaining that image required the government to actively dismiss the reality of what was happening in the mountains. Even when residents live-streamed video evidence of smoke and gunfire, Mexico's security cabinet went on social media and stated that the attacks had been officially ruled out by authorities. The priority shifted from providing safety to maintaining the appearance of it. The government valued the international optics of a peaceful tournament over the documented experiences of its own people. When the tournament ends and the tourists fly home, the new reality on the ground persists. In the rural Guerrero, the lasting impact of the World Cup isn't a trophy. It's the normalization of aerial bombardment.